Okay, hi, good afternoon, everybody. This is ST here from JTC. I'm from the New Estates Division. Basically, we manage all the different new estates in Singapore, industrial estates in Singapore, but specifically Jurong Innovation District and Woodlands North Coast. So today we are here to share a little bit about an exciting collaboration that we have upcoming with Mistletoe as well as Singapore Polytechnic. So I really like what Yang has shared just now about on the codes, and I believe it is a very good lead up to what we are about to share right now. So this event that we are bringing to you is very much on innovation and encouraging prototyping. I'll go a little bit more into that. As you may already heard, like recently, I think there's a major push from the government, on all the different innovation projects and how we should enhance our innovation and research efforts in Singapore. And of course, that is fantastic because given the current situation, this is exactly what we need to really sharpen our competitiveness. But of course, we as matters, I mean, myself included, I think the word innovation has been quite broadly used. So many a time we'll always think like, oh, innovation may not be for us and it's only for people who are more skilled, technical, people who have that kind of, who are experts in their own fields, basically. So we hear that particularly a lot when during our interaction with like students and from IHLs and stuff. So that brings us to the next point of like how we want to bridge the gap, because the last time when ourselves, JTC, Mistletoe and Singapore Poly came together, we were just thinking like, hey, can we develop something that will help bridge the gap, make it interesting. And because we have under our purview is Jurong Innovation District, which is Singapore's largest, advanced manufacturing hub, innovation district, as well as Singapore's largest living lab. We thought it's a great opportunity to maybe test out this particular initiative or this particular event within our district itself. So maybe just to share a little bit, beyond just an advanced manufacturing hub with all our ecosystem of advanced manufacturers, urban solution people, as well as logistics companies, we are also Singapore's largest living lab in a sense that we are able to, there are many of those new industry relevant innovations as well as solutions that are being test-bedded within our estate. So one of the key things that JID is very much focusing on is on building collaborative culture, encouraging hands-on experimentation and creation, promoting innovation, and of course, we also recognize that connections are really important. Providing opportunities are very, very important for our community these days. So that's also something that we are working towards. So with that in mind, of course, how we want to do it is to introduce this Designathon 2021. And we are sharing it today really because we wanted to get a sense from the community on how interested everyone is in participating in something like this. May it be in the form of you may be playing the role of, say, a mentor, a trainer, a speaker, or even a participant. So for Designathon 2021 is is a design sprint, basically, for aspiring innovators to co-create all the different solutions that address like challenges for cities of tomorrow. So in short, is something that we want to work together with our community to come up with like different solutions and innovations for maybe even estate challenges or bigger problems that we will be facing the next in the next few decades, kind of thing. So maybe just to go a little bit more in depth about what it is about. The target participants, what we are looking at is to reach out to our innovators, which is yourself. I'm not sure how many of you guys are in Singapore or overseas, but regardless, I think this is an opportunity for all aspiring innovators, really, and we'll be opening up the same opportunity to our partnered IHLs, the different students, as well as their alumni, and also, of course, our JID community. So our JID community comprises, of course, of all the different companies within our ecosystem. And like I mentioned just now, they range from startups all the way to large MNCs, dabbling in areas like advanced manufacturing, urban solutions, and logistics. So in terms of time period, we are opening it for many months, a few months rather. November this year is what we are planning to, is the time we're planning to launch it. And we are hoping that we can close it sometime in end April. So it's unlike your regular hackathon, which is probably like less than a month or so. But this time around, we have a longer period, really because we want to get more quality submissions, and we'll want to work more closely with the participants to develop something of value. So participants will not be working alone. They'll also be working with mentors from, like I mentioned, our JID, Mistletoe, and SP community. So we'll gather like experts from the different fields or industries to come and provide advice, or even share their expert opinions on the different concepts that were being developed by the participants. So maybe just a brief background on what it is like. In November, we will start something like a briefing on the event itself. So we'll share on the different themes, the broad themes that is. And of course, interested participants will take it back. You can form a group of 2 to 3 to start up something like this and do up a preliminary concept design. Subsequently, you can do a submission. We'll do a shortlisting. The shortlisted participants will go through like a series of workshops and joint ideation to help further develop their ideas. And with a more concrete proposal, you can do your second round of submission. And of course, we'll do another round of shortlisting. And this final group of participants will enter the development and prototyping phase with their mentors. And hopefully we can derive, even the first cut of the prototype can be something more of with professional advice, that is. And of course, lastly, we'll curate all these different projects and get them ready to share it at our next platform, which is the Prototyping Festival. I'll share a little bit more on that later, but maybe I'll share with you upfront first. You'll probably be thinking what the challenge statements are. They are very much inspired by the Audacity's Perma Colony teams. I believe you guys know about this event. But basically, we are touching on how we can tackle like problems of future cities that will be faced by future cities. So you'll be touching in areas like on areas like food, space, resource, well-being, things like that. How do we create more livable spaces? How do we maybe do like circular manufacturing, things like that. So there will be various different topics that you can touch on. So it's not just, you're not just going to be limited to these 4 aspects, but there's also a wildcard where you can define the future of your choice. So basically you can come up with any innovation projects that you have in mind. Yeah. So in short, why Designathon? I think the primary reason really that we thought of was to trigger a mindset change. Start small, maybe a small change or a big change, it doesn't matter. The key thing is to raise some awareness that innovation is for everyone. We can start with something more hands-on, we can start experimenting, and who knows, you know, small ideas can be developed to resolve big problems in time to come. And of course, we want to promote ideation and hands-on experimentation. And given the current COVID period, is especially important to provide also a platform for the young talents to upskill themselves. So we have like a series of workshops and trainings to help them enhance their skill sets. And ideally, of course, if we are able to get really good high potential projects, it will help us also develop a pipeline of quality innovation projects that we can potentially test bed within our estate. So as an events lined up, just to share a little bit more, earlier this year, we have launched our project Co-Create. It is a collaboration with the IHLs and their final year students to develop like solutions to tackle existing problems in our estates. So we were very specific with the student groups and say like, you know, we want to design outdoor cooling system or things like that, because we have identified specific problem statements within Jurong Innovation District for people to challenge themselves. Yeah. Then of course, now we are bringing this whole project one notch higher. We talk about Designathon, where we tackle bigger problems such as challenges of cities of tomorrow. So both projects, eventually, whatever ideas and solutions that came through, we will curate, and hopefully we can bring all the high potential projects to our prototyping festival, where we can showcase them to all the different industry partners that we have aboard. To share a little bit about the Prototype Festival itself, it is likely to be an online festival that will bring together like our industry experts I mentioned, innovators like yourself, different talents, young talents especially, to celebrate innovation, creation, and solutioning through prototyping. So the emphasis is there on creating and prototyping their own solutions. It is going to be held right after the Designathon. So it will likely be happening sometime mid-May 2021. All the details are currently for this event are to be confirmed because right now we are still in the planning stage. But rest assured that we'll try and create as exciting content as possible to support all the different participants. And of course, we want to do this digitally because we anticipate that the COVID situation is likely to still be there. If not, if it does improve, then of course we will also explore other physical alternatives. It could be a hybrid where we potentially bring all the different participants down to Jurong Innovation District to share a little bit more about the different smart factories that are inside, and also perhaps to showcase all the different prototypes that were being built during this process. And of course, for this particular event, there will be various industry partners that will come on board to join us to learn about the different inspiring stories and projects that are available. So the students, as well as the different communities that our partners will bring in. Tentative program, give me a second. For the tentative program, we'll have an opening on JID just to share a little bit about our innovation efforts to date. And also we'll invite different keynote speakers from our JID companies or our JTC partners, Minnesota partners, or SP partners to really share about the different innovation projects, prototype related topics. Could be something even like the future of 3D printing, things like that. And another segment will be dedicated to the sharing of shortlisted projects from our Project Co-Create and Designathon. Hopefully we'll end off with a bang, but the highlight of course remains a surprise for now. We'll let you know closer to date. Let me see. But for the prototyping festival, because it's just going to be a showcase platform, the objective is slightly different in the sense that it really serves more to inspire people. So whoever who come on board and join us for this fest will come to learn a bit more about the different ideation process and the design journey of our innovators, and hopefully take away some useful information on prototyping. We are also hoping that we can indirectly create this platform for talent development and recruitment. So if the industries do see potential in the innovators who are being showcased, there could be some good opportunities to do this, to do their recruitment bit. So how we want to do this, I think we're sharing with you guys today really because we want to get your buy-in perhaps to join us, even as a mentor, a participant, or a trainer like I mentioned just now. So the value that we hope to bring to our participants really includes being able to work with industry partners and building new connections. The various workshops and trainings will hopefully help them upskill as well to have the kind of skill sets that is being required by the market right now. And of course, leverage on the new resource platforms to develop their ideas. This includes things like our makerspace or the different makerspaces that we have right now, or we are working with our partners to have. And all the high potential projects will get opportunity, of course, to showcase at our prototyping festival, to develop it into the proof of concept, which I think is the most important right now, because to be able to showcase your project within a growing district, I think there's a lot of potential to eventually bring it to fruition, or it could possibly also spin off into more meaningful collaborations in time to come. There will be also recruitment internships or opportunities, recruitment opportunities by the JID companies or partners. Lastly, there's also the early entry submission to Moonshot Permacolony Challenge. Because like I mentioned just now, a lot of teams are very inspired by this challenge. So naturally, the shortlisted projects, the high potential ones, will stand a very high chance of getting into this particular challenge itself. And in terms of creating value for our partner, so partners referring to, of course, those people who join us as mentors, not so much as participants, but mentors or people who want to do a training or keynote speakers. So for example, like the mentors, you'll be able to co-develop and implement proof of concept in JID. So access to young talents, seeding new ideas, getting exposure to the different new like-minded industry partners. And I think particularly in this current situation, the opportunity to connect is really, really priceless. We want to create a kind of platform where all the different communities can come together and easily interact with one another to form new ideas or new collaborations. So I think we'll try and make it as easy as possible, and hopefully something more meaningful will come out of it, because this is how we always see it. Like through our past events, there are many instances where we see connections being spun off into very meaningful collaborations. So maybe to end off, it's a pretty short presentation because it's meant to be a teaser rather, to welcome you guys on board and join us for this particular exciting collaboration. So I think Shuen Hwee will be sharing a little bit, or rather maybe doing a poll, I guess, to find out a bit more of your interest and see whether you're interested in joining us on this journey and play maybe a bigger role in terms of that of a trainer or a mentor or even a participant. So we are not so concerned about skill sets. So for those who are sitting in, if you feel that you're a student or whatsoever who are keen to try your hands out in experimentation, please feel free to just indicate your interest as well. So that we can contact you closer to date. For now, there's still like 4 months away. We have time to really brush up on the content and also, of course, bring you more new exciting ideas along the way.
And this poll happens to be anonymous, so we won't know who answered what. So if some of you are interested in being an industry mentor,
it's not anonymous.
Oh,
we will know who.
Okay.
So that's the reason, right? So that we can get in touch with you if you're interested. Sorry, Shane.
so okay.
Technology, I guess. Don't worry. It's just this fault. Yeah. Because we need your contact in order to keep you updated on all the different news and stuff. So even if you are not interested this time around, maybe you can just think about it and indicate your interest, and who knows, you might be more keen to join us once you get more information. Yeah. All right, so that wraps up my presentation. It's a short one, so hopefully we can come back again and share a little bit more details on the Designathon as well as the Prototyping Festival to all the innovators community out there. Like we really hope to get your support on this, and especially as mentors, because I really believe that your experience today will be extremely valuable, especially to our young participants or our participants who are joining. All right, thank you. Shuen Hwee, over to you. You have anything to add? Or?
So next we have Ming and Yong who will be sharing about the harvester robotics. Yeah.
Okay, can you guys see the slides?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
So, hello, I'm Yong.
Wait, there's an echo.
Okay, sorry.
Hi, I'm Yong. So earlier this year, me, Shuen Hwee, and Ming got together to work on harvester robotics. So currently, me and Ming are interning after we ORD, and we are enrolling into uni just next week. Yeah, I'm going to NUS, and Ming is going to Georgia Tech. Yeah, with this, Ming, do you want to begin?
Sure.
Yeah, so the COVID-19 pandemic has brought about a greater disparity between the nature of jobs as a whole. Individuals in higher risk jobs are not necessarily rewarded with higher income. The job market is very unequal, with some high-paying and comfortable, low-risk jobs, while many work in boring, repetitive, and usually low-wage conditions.
Yes, there are many jobs that are considered boring and repetitive. These jobs are typically the 3D jobs, which refers to the dirty, dangerous, and difficult, which are jobs that are characterized by the bottom right-hand quadrant in the slide. Some of them include logging, deep sea.
Okay, so there are many jobs that are considered boring and repetitive. The jobs that are typically the 3D jobs, dirty, dangerous, and difficult, and are jobs in the bottom right quadrant of the slide, such as logging and building construction and maintenance. While they are necessarily important to society, these are jobs that not many people would want to do given a choice. The wages of such jobs are not proportionate to the harsh and dangerous working conditions experienced by workers, and many work in exploitative conditions. In an ideal future, this phenomenon should not exist anymore as automation removes the need for these jobs.
With this in mind, Audacity has started a seed project, DMC World, which we have been working on. For now, I'll just play a short introduction to DMC World and the introduction to the team behind it. Hi, I'm Ming. I like coding and robotics. I know, it's not exactly the most interesting combination in the world right now. For me, I started off doing Lego robots. I did it for a few years, but I had no idea what I was doing. Eventually, I saw my senior building a remote control plane. I thought it was interesting, so I thought, why not? So I decided to build remote control planes instead. I crashed a few planes, or maybe like 30 of them. I built more planes eventually and managed to get one to fly. But I still had no idea what I was doing. And yes, you probably get the idea that my robotics journey involves me not knowing what I was doing each step of the way. But it's still an interesting learning journey for me. For me, robotics was great because of its potential to build robots to do tasks that humans wouldn't want to do or are too dangerous.
Hello, I'm Yong. I started robotics when I was 9 years old. As a young boy, what I really love about robotics is that I could build and create anything I wanted. I was not bounded by pragmatism or judgmentation, and there were literally zero boundaries, except for cost for me. As I aged, I realized that robotics is more than just a toy. There are many real-life applications for it, and they can really change the world, especially replacing the 3D, dirty, dangerous, and difficult jobs. I felt stronger for this, especially after my national service term. Having taken part in many high-risk activities such as parachuting and long route marches in the army, I felt even more so for the need of technology to prevent exposing humans to unnecessary, dangerous, and back-breaking tasks.
I love traveling, and my favorite country is Mongolia. When I first went there, I was so excited by the ability to connect with nature and environment. Herding sheep in the mountain on a horseback was definitely one of the best experiences ever, but when I shared that joy with my host dad, he was really unimpressed. If only we could all live the life we wanted, we choose our way of living rather than something we're born into and forced into. I believe with proper utilization of technology, lives can be more equitable, with freedom as a key core value every individual has the right to.
DMC World is an open innovation ecosystem focused on digital twin-based games with real-world impact. Currently, we observe that the gaming industry is booming. Almost everyone indulges in games at some point in their life. So we could use this time to translate to getting meaningful work done by creating a mirror world built upon the principles of peace, wellness, and environment. We can redefine the nature of jobs and work. In the future of automation, the actual 3D jobs will be outsourced to robots, while humans can remain engaged in the work through the virtual world. Humans are kept safe in the comfort of their own home, while dangerous tasks are still completed.
In the future, anyone can do extremely dangerous work safely and with minimum training. This reduces the risk to workers while increasing accessibility to jobs by reducing the barriers to entry for individuals to partake in any forms of work. In addition, these jobs can be gamified and made more fun and interesting as the strenuous physical components of the job are handled by robots.
The MCO was founded to solve the landmine challenge. These landmines were left behind during war times and have killed and injured many over the years. There's currently estimated to be 110 million landmines, and every year, 5,000 people are killed or injured by these active landmines. The current most effective and reliable way of removing landmines is human demining. Yet, for every 10,000 landmines removed, 2 human landmine removers are killed and 4 are injured.
Asia is largely contaminated with landmines, and often these landmines are found in poorer countries such as Laos or Cambodia. In these countries, we can find that people live in dangerous conditions right next to minefields, which is definitely not an environment humans should be living in. While there have been agencies such as the United Nations that are actively pushing for the removal of all landmines to provide a safe living environment for individuals, it is much easier said than done. The cost of landmines is much lower than the cost of removing the mine itself. Demining is about 100 times more expensive than planting the landmines, which makes it very economically challenging, especially for developing countries to remove all the landmines. Currently, it has been estimated to cost over $100 billion to remove all these landmines around the world.
In Cambodia, there is an estimated 3 to 6 billion landmines left behind from the reign of Khmer Rouge. The country had originally pledged to remove all landmines by 2000. Since then, they have requested for 2 extensions with the current extended deadline set as 2025. Apart from the terrains making human demining even tougher, human demining is also perceived as a means to give locals a chance to improve their lives with higher pay, thereby increasing the inertia to combat this problem. These landmines affect the overall standard of living of Cambodians. Removing all the landmines in Cambodia would double its agriculture production and give locals better access to education.
For the initial phase of the project at Audacity, we launched a pilot trial where we will establish a virtual farming community enabled by robotics and automation, which will allow individuals to harvest any kinds of crops safely, joyfully, and easily. For harvester robotics, the initial focus is to build a sweet potato harvester, since the process of harvesting a sweet potato is similar to that of removing a landmine. Also, in light of the discussions of self-sufficiency, sweet potato is a crop that is highly nutritious and thrives well in our climate.
For our initial prototype, the concept is to have a mothership as the main robot, which takes on the common functions of locomotion across the farm and storage. Other functions, such as digging and harvesting, are delegated to smaller baby bots that are transported by the mothership. This concept helps to simplify the designs of the individual robots, as there are a lot of different sub-functions required for a sweet potato harvester, due to the complexity of the process. Putting all of them together would constrain our design to big and bulky robots that have limited applications. The individual baby bots will collaborate with one another and are specialized to serve their functions well. Our design includes a storage compartment for the harvested sweet potatoes, which is located just beneath the electronics compartment. We use a Ferris wheel mechanism to make better use of vertical storage space. We have 2 categories of baby bots with distinct functions, digging and harvesting, with a greater emphasis on digging for our current prototypes.
The first is a rolling spear mechanism. As most mechanisms that dig well involve some form of rotary motion, we identified using this with a textured outer shell to dig. There is an inner board in the spear that causes the rotation of the spear. Our digger board is specialized in digging compact and dry soil. The mechanism consists of multiple scoops, which scoops up the soil into a temporary storage space within the mechanism. Spinning the digger in one direction digs up the soil, and spinning in the opposite direction releases the soil. The worm board is designed to harvest the sweet potato. After the digger boards have successfully exposed the sweet potatoes, the worm board will come into harvest. Servos are connected between parts of the robot to create a wiggling motion. The rounded form factor ensures it is more streamlined to move well while partially submerged in soil. In addition, a blower is added at the front to remove any remaining soil to facilitate the harvesting process.
In the future, we envision a farm that can be remotely operated with the use of multiple robots collaborating together to accomplish tasks. These will be under the control of humans that are potentially thousands of miles away over the internet. This enables us to create a safe working environment for humans. It also opens up the potential for gamification for a more enjoyable experience. Okay, that's the end of the video. Yay. Okay, for today, we have prepared a short live demo for one of our baby bots, and I'm really excited about it. But first, I'm just going to play a short instructional video on how to use the robot. So a quick introduction to our robot is that it is using teleport to control. But yeah, currently we have allowed only, we will allow our user to use it later on. But yeah, we're going to play the instructional video now. Is my screen shared?
Yes.
Yes, I'm screen sharing. Okay, yay. So yeah, just a quick, just a brief background. This is the Telegram app. Yeah, if you want to use the bot, you need to download the Telegram app. You'll send the commands via the app to the robot. Okay. And yes, now I shall hand it over to the team on site at GID for the live demonstration. Screen share.
Okay, yes, hi. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, okay, hi, I'm sorry we have a bit of technical errors just now because we couldn't hear drumming. But yeah, right now we have our setup on site. And Shane, could you help to spotlight Colleen's video?
Okay. Yeah. So you'll be able to see Colin's video, and then I'll be getting a volunteer, Shure, to help control our robot from Westwood. Yeah, so she's not with us on site now, and she'll be controlling the robot through the telebot. So right now on your screen, you'll be able to see Shure's share screen of her Telegram bot and also Colin's video. So you can drag the slider on your screen to make the video bigger. Yeah. I think
Hi everyone.
yep. So Shure, you can start anytime you're ready.
Yeah, so for some context, we are like separated. I'm in my home and they are GID. And how this works is we are connected on a chatting platform called Telegram, where they have linked the Telegram chat as a input for commands to the motherboard of the harvesting robot. So the idea is that anybody can control this from anywhere, but for the purposes of today, I'll be the one controlling the bot. Yep. So I'm going to start by moving the bot forward. And then I can stop the bot from moving. And let's maybe make it move a little bit more. Yeah. Oh no. Okay, now I can make it go backwards because it's out of the frame. And the bot can turn as well. So as you can see, it's all it's all live. It's honestly a bit difficult because of the lag time with the bot, but all in all, if this goes well, we'll be able to control the arm of the bot and also the spinning of the contraption so that it can dig. So, Shuen Hwee, can we use the spin forward command, or is it not ready yet?
Our spin forward command has a bit of problems right now.
Okay, but
Yeah.
it worked earlier today. So basically,
worked
when you
earlier.
use the spin forward command, it can hypothetically dig for the dig the soil.
Maybe.
Yeah. You can show. So you can let it turn until it reaches to the orientation that you want it to go. And then you can stop it. And then you can make it go forward. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Shure, for the live demonstration. Yep. And that kind of concludes our part. So jumping back to you.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, thank you,
Thanks,
Shure.
Shure. Okay, and yes, that sort of concludes our presentation as well. We hope that you enjoyed it. If you are interested in joining us, currently for future plans, we are looking at creating a game, like a game interface for the robot so that you can control it. So the person can play a game and control the robot, which will make it more entertaining. But yeah, we are open to talking to any one of you that are interested in the Minecraft as well. You can email sjeremy@misoto.co or you can email Shuen Hwee as well, which is shuenhwee@offhaven.co. Thank you so much for your attention. Stop my screen share.
So we have Alan.
So next up, we have Alan, going to be giving another prototype demonstration. Alan, where are you, Alan?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, but I can't see you. Ah, there we go.
Alan, nice to meet you. I'm here with the Audacity folks in the Slice Cafe upstairs, and prepared a short presentation about our efforts in making another type of machine. Let me sit down. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Hi, so I'm gonna give a 5-minute presentation on tips on prototyping fast, and then play a video that Colin had made about one of our machines. So I am Alan Shi. I have a PhD in applied physics from Harvard, and then my undergraduate was in theoretical physics, and I'm currently the science advisor to Mistletoe, and I have quite a bit of experience in prototyping, but everyone's prototyping experience is different. So let me just share my tips, which are quite simple, actually. So the first thing to understand is some of the philosophy behind prototyping, and that really helps to inform how to go about it. So the big idea is what is R&D? Prototyping is the essence of R&D, because R&D is innovative activities undertaken in developing new services or products or improving existing ones. So what we want to do is go from idea to product, and then oftentimes we're stuck on idea, and you just stuck there forever until at some point you're able to cross that gap. So that first step is quite important. So in terms of the big picture, on the right here I have a plot. On the y-axis is the business gain, and on the x-axis is time. And as you can see, over time, R&D is plotted, and what R&D is a cost in terms of time and finances. So it's best to minimize both if the goal is to maximize your net gain. Generally, the longer you sit on something, the less the gain might be if you're eating into the potential lifetime in most cases. And then in this plot, it's quite interesting because you know, you're negative while you're doing R&D, and then while you're doing R&D, you want to keep in mind the end goal. There's two end goals here. You see it where the tail is, there's one tail that's a D and one tail that's L prime. And D means that, you know, the product was successful for some certain amount of time, and then the interest just died out. So then no one's buying your innovation anymore. But actually the end goal is really to settle on a new norm, which is L prime, so that the product is adopted into everyday life, and you know, people's ways of living are fundamentally changed for a very long time. So we have to keep this in mind. And then the third thing that we have to keep in mind is, how do we quantify the journey? So personally, I'm a fan of using NASA's technology readiness levels, often just called TRL. And I think often this is used throughout different government entities as well as companies to quantify which stage of technology development you are at. And it's always very important to be able to quantify in order to gauge the time and the resources put in. So starting from the bottom, just TRL1, that's when you have your first idea, and then you're conducting basic research. And when you basically have a good idea of the technology involved, then you're moved up to TRL2, and then now we're tasked with the task to prove it in the simplest way possible, just to prove that the technology as we envision it works. And then after that's done, we're moved into TRL3, and here we really are just developing an MVP for the product, the minimum viable product, where we just have to put everything together into a system that works. And often that's immature, just beginning, which is TRL3, and then slightly more mature, medium maturity is TRL4, and then well done is TRL5, at which point then you start demonstrating the technology, doing the initial tests to see how the product performs. And then that's also similarly, there's a rare, medium, and well done. And then by the time you're well done, TRL7 there, a lot of finessing has to go into the system and subsystems. That a typical innovation is it's a composition of several subsystems. It's the simplest innovation is taking two things that already exist and then combining them together. And then if, as you extrapolate from that, you could take three things and put them together, four things, put them together. And it's only quite rare when something completely new, a completely new subsystem is developed. Most of the majority of the innovations, even though they seem new in collection, at the very fundamental level, they're a collection of things that humanity had developed in its past, and now we're kind of standing on the shoulders of giants. So we finesse those, and then that's also in a three-step, like medium, rare, medium, and well done. And then the final goal is TRL9, meaning that it's safe, it's ready to go, and once you're there, you can actually bring it to market. So I try to distill the four major steps of climbing the TRLs as much as possible. So the four big steps you must take to climb the TRLs. First, you have to make a shopping list. I'm just trying to be as practical as possible. Because sometimes you might not know how to go from paper to product. So you make a shopping list. This is very difficult, actually, to be able to think through what you need to buy. Once you buy it, number two is quite important, because once you buy, you have the things, the materials that you need to build things. It seems simple, but that's what you need to activate the physical prototyping stage. And then three is you put it together. That's it could be the easiest among these. It's but during step number three, we'll discover a lot of challenges and annoying things because you can't put it together as you thought. And then, but once you do this, once you do 1, 2, and 3, you basically climbed one rung of the TRLs. Now you go back to step 1, and then you keep doing this over and over again. So you do this 9 times approximately. You might be able to climb from TRL1 to TRL9. So let me give an example. I have a company, it's called Singapore Heavy Engineering, and this example is called Virestorm. So because of the coronavirus, we developed an equipment to kill it. The issue is that as far as we identified, there's no efficient way, there's no way to efficiently and effectively kill the viruses. By efficiently, we mean that minimum time, cost, operational complexity, and labor intensity. Effectively means to have a perfect kill efficacy, like all the viruses are killed, no mistakes and no missed areas, because when you have people or robots or something, sometimes there might be a programmatic error, or a person is wiping down the room and then they have no idea if they wiped everything down perfectly or they just missed a square centimeter, or even it could be even more. So we began this project in February 2020, and Colin made a very nice video for us to highlight the prototyping stages that we went through, which I'll show. But I want to show that this is what we started with. We start with the issue. And then the first thing that we did was to write down the shopping list and then buy the parts, very simple parts, which in the beginning was just a hair dryer and some minerals. We stuffed the minerals in the hair dryer, and then it seemed to create, we seemed to be able to climb from TRL1 to TRL2, just like that. So how it works is, we're using ozone to sterilize air and surfaces in buildings and airplanes and whatever, wherever there's the virus, you need to decontaminate it. How it works is, on the right here, I have the plot of ozone concentration versus time. So the process is we need to boost the ambient ozone concentration. Ozone is a gas. It's toxic to the virus and bacteria and all sorts of things. So we boost it to a higher concentration in the ambient air, and then we hold it during the whole time the virus is killed. And at the end, we need to reclaim it again. We need to break it down to make the area safe to enter again. So I've illustrated here O2 in normal oxygen in the atmosphere coming into the system and coming out as O3. And then to reclaim it, to break it down, we have O3 coming back into the system. There's something that breaks it back down into breathable O2. So on the left here, I have a scientific drawing of how we're generating ozone. Basically, apply electricity to some little structure. And then as the air flows past that structure, electricity energizes the air to turn the O2 into O3. So there's air in and then ozone out. And then ozone is just 3 oxygen atoms. So it's 1 more than a normal oxygen molecule, being O2, so it's O3. And that extra oxygen atom in the molecule is very reactive. So it's used to burn things. So it's kind of like they call it oxidation. So whenever it touches any organic matter, it goes in and then it takes the carbon in the organic matter and then it reacts with it, form a gas, and it takes it off. And then that really damages these small creatures like viruses. Yeah, one thing to illustrate more clearly is, I'm just going to give another anecdote, a scientific anecdote. Like this might make it more clear. How does it damage organic matter? So one thing that you can consider is, it might be completely off topic, but weight loss. People often think about like when they're trying to dieting and on losing weight. It's like, if you're losing weight, body weight, what's actually going on? Where's the weight going? Are you peeing it out? Are you pooing it out? No, definitely not. It's the weight is mass, right? It's going somewhere, and you're actually breathing it out. And that's the riddle here. Your breath by breath, it's CO2 that you're expelling from the body, and then that carbon is carbon plus O2 is CO2, right? So carbon plus oxygen that came in became the CO2, and that little tiny bit of mass that you breathed out just made you a bit lighter. So ozone is the same. That extra oxygen here is oxidizing the virus and making it go through an accelerated weight loss program, and then it just disintegrates. If that makes sense. So I just want to show I'm quite satisfied with the prototyping results, because we got this tested by a third party. That's our goal, to reach TRL 9. So I want to demonstrate. I went from TRL 1 from an idea all the way to TRL 9. We got this tested by the most highly regarded third-party testing lab here, showing for both E. coli and MRSA bacteria that we can reduce the population, or we can kill the bacteria by 99.9998%, regardless of distance. It says like 50 centimeters, 100 centimeters, 150 centimeters. We can kill it because it's a gas. Ozone is a gas, so it can go everywhere. You can go into fibers, you can go behind the chair, you can go under your shoe. It's gonna kill everything on every single nook and cranny, regardless of position and distance at this percentage. So for us, this gives us the confidence to move it from the lab and try to push it into the market, which is what we're trying to do now. Thank you. Next I'll be showing someone will be helping me share the video. And if you have any questions I can help with, you can always contact me at these email addresses. And then after
I'll be sharing a video now, so I'll interact with screen share.
Let me stop.
Okay.
So this is the first version of the prototype that we made to kill the virus. You're just using normal ambient air to generate the ozone, to do the sterilization. And then after the process is done, we're breaking it back down into normal air. We started on this after the outbreak started in China. It might have been early February, where we had demonstrated a proof of concept in terms of the technology, and then we wanted to try to build it up into a contained system as much as possible. And then we did a lot of testing on it to see what the issues were. in terms of the systems integration in order to iterate and create the second version. The biggest problem that we found out was that it wasn't effective enough in its performance in generating enough ozone to kill in a very short amount of time. So from this, we learned that we need to make this much more powerfand efficient. This is the second version of the machine, and it's we kind of went overboard. It's kind of a beast. Our target this time was to make it super powerful, to compensate for the weakness in the first version. In this machine, we have ozone generators up here, and then ozone degenerator down here. Electricity, which is delivered into the generator components, and that energizes air, especially the oxygen in the air, by ionizing oxygen, splitting it up, and then recombining into 3 oxygen atoms, which is then ozone. Underneath it, we have the ozone degenerator, which is one of the first things that we tested to be able to go ahead with this idea, because we need to have the ability to break down ozone, which is in high concentration toxic gas. So we need to break it down in order to guarantee its safety. And the way it works is it's like a catalytic converter in a car. After we made this, we realized that in terms of making this into a product, it's not. There's some like very glaring drawbacks. It's difficult to service. It's quite bulky. We realized that we can make it much more streamlined, smaller, and better for the customers in the end. So we embarked on making another version. You can see the logo is, and the name is over here. It's called Virestorm, and it's basically a play on words on virus, storm, and firestorm, because we want to burn the hell out of the viruses using this technology. It's a war on COVID that we're trying to initiate here. The air goes in here through this hole, and it goes out other side through this hole. The technology here using ozone is very special because it's a broad spectrum biocide, in that it can kill all manner of microorganisms irrespective of its form. So ozone will react with any organic matter to oxidize it and then basically burn it up without the heat. For viruses like the COVID-19 virus, it's quite small, and actually there's not that much organic material, so the smaller the microorganism, the easier it is to burn up. So it's actually especially weak to this type of attack. And we've designed this version to be more consumer friendly. Let's turn this thing on. The set point at 6. Let's run this for 30 seconds, and then run the other part for 30 seconds. Done. Let's run this.
That was amazing.
Hi, I'm back. Is there any more time for questions?
I think we could. I think
No more time.
we might be at time.
Thank you all for listening to the presentation. I hope it was helpful. You can always contact me if I can help in any way.
Well, but it's so good. I feel like we should field some questions.
Oh yeah, ask me.
Yeah.
Maybe.
How much electricity? Jaden asked, how much electricity does it use?
Currently that machine runs at 1 kilowatt. That's the energy consumption rate. So it's slightly less than a hairdryer.
And there are no other inputs. It's just electricity, right?
Yeah, it just takes electricity. And typically we need to run it for 1 hour to kill, on that certificate that I showed, to kill the 99.9998%. We need to run it for 1 hour. Yeah.
What's the size of the room?
Oh, everyone's asking the same kind of questions at the same time. Nice. The size of the room is that we ran in was about 4 meters by 4 meters large, by 3 meters high. So.
Okay.
And we envision this to be placed on airplanes and rooms, offices, elevators, schools, hospitals, everywhere. Yeah, but it's not typically safe to run it while people are around, so you have to exit the room. Although there has never been a recorded case, to my knowledge, of anyone being killed by ozone. It's quite a gentle toxin, I think.
Is it very noisy?
Okay.
It's a bit noisy sometimes.
Yeah. Great. Amazing. Well, I think if you have more questions, we can take it with Alan, which I'm sure there's a lot more, because I think you guys are planning a rollout very soon.
Yeah. Thanks, Henry. We are.
Yeah. I just received a notice from Jan that we have Nick's invited speakers ready to go.
Oh, okay. Great. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Alan. Incredible stuff. And actually, starting with ST's presentation on the upcoming prototyping festival, I think it ties very nicely into some of the ideas that we had collectively thought were going to be the most important thing, which was the sort of constant evolution of people to work to create this perfect utopian world. And I think that getting in touch with the institutes of higher learning and giving them opportunities to have mentors and be able to work on real world problems in one of these largest living playground labs that we have here in Singapore with JTC is a fantastic opportunity to do this. And I now learned a new definition of 3D, which is the dirty, dangerous, and difficult things. So good to make sure you know what 3D you're talking about in the future if you're going to be asked to do any 3D work. And TRL, technology readiness level, some new acronyms, because you can't get through a day in Singapore without adding some new acronyms to your vocabulary. But next up, we have another segment of our very fun, what is it called? What's our segment called? Oh,
Startup Unleashed.
The Startup Unleashed with Atsushi. So this is where we get to reach out.
Don't forget.
Yeah. So today we got a really cool conversation coming up with some more 3D printing of materials, but not the bad 3D. So I guess Atsushi, you can over to you and craft help.